It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It is Thursday, February 4th, 2021, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. Today we'll get some coronavirus updates, question and answer as we do every single Thursday, and of course, Victory Rhymes by Youngse from South Africa. So, how are you guys doing today? Yes, it's Thursday. We're at the back end of the week. The end is almost here, and I hope you guys are really enjoying your first week of February, and hope you also enjoyed the service last night. So let's get this day started together here on the Morning Star Drive. Just want to remind everyone to keep liking and commenting, and I want to hear from you guys and see how you are doing. So, what happened this week? Well, on Tuesday night, we also had the Lab 78, kind of a talk show we have on my my SKY YouTube channel. Fun time. We're talking about social media and such. Cute thing that just happened too. My mom just texted me. She said she just watched it, and now she's trying to explain to me why the Chinese calendar changes dates every year. She's like, "Oh, it's the Noonal calendar." I'm like, "What? What's that?" It's like lunar, but she wrote Noonal. My mom's too cute. So she explained to me the whole thing. Also, this Sunday, who are we meeting? We're going to meet someone from Australia. We're going to meet Tim Dahan from Australia, Face Star entrepreneur, future entrepreneur, and he is also a CTN reporter for Australia. Great. So I'm sure all of you have heard his voice and seen him during those reports on Wednesdays. Now, very thankful he spent time to do this interview. Really, really good interview. I was really inspired by it also, so make sure to catch this week's Sunday edition. So, let's get into the featured artist of the day on this terrific Thursday. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I need a TH. This enthusiastic Thursday. I don't know. Well, let's look at the featured artist of the day. Today's featured artist is Mariah Henry from America, sister to Mike Jr. from the Sumney Boys. She has a great couple of songs. I hope she keeps making some more music too. And we're going to hear a song called Paradise. Really fun song featuring her older brother also. Second song is going to be from Bach of the Paper Music Associates in Korea. And this one's featuring Hannah, who's currently in America, in Washington, D.C., I believe, and that song is A Flower. And third, last but not least, this third song is Rising Japan Radio, and this song is called Love Letter. So, guys, as usual, let's make sure that we support our member artists from around the world and make sure if there's anything that we do for them, if there's one thing we can do, it is to pray for them.
Take you where you wanna go. You gotta really show him that you want it though. He can show you where you wanna be. You gotta put in words that'll be unseen. Look, and it's just like that. Take it to the golden city just with a snap. You don't even got a trip, no, we got your back. All you gotta do is sit back and relax. There's this love between you and I that is so strong. I don't wanna ever lose it, then I'll be alone. But if I leave his arms, I wonder. I'll be sitting all alone just to ponder. Make up your mind and act as you should. I'ma show you we can be the greatest dude I ever stood. Living with the Lord every day is like my paradise. If you leave your worries and concerns to him, you'll be alright.
Really wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your deeds. A pretty paradise right from the start. Oh.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
The weather's fine, the temperature's cool. 7 on earth, cause I'm with you. Ain't nothing better when we live forever. When we make us to be one true love. Birds of a feather flock together. And it's just like that. Give you my love, cause I don't hold back. Call me your love, cause I know you got stacks. This love is real, cause we got it like that. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud 9. Make heaven together with you and I. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud nine. Make heaven together with you and I.
Hey. You wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your tears. A pretty paradise right from the start. Oh, oh.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
He can take you where you wanna go. 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 He can show you what you wanna know. He can show you what you wanna know. I have realized I'm not alone, because living with you is like my paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
추운 날 비추인 햇살 하늘 아래 깨어난 한 송이 아득했던 밤 하늘 속 바라던 희망도 눈앞에 이뤄진 걸 작은 하나의 씨앗에서 자란다 바위와 흙 속에서 지냈던 시간 많은 시련과 아픈 기억들도 이젠 하나의 선으로 그려졌나.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I know what you feel inside. Oh flower, oh flower. I know you're the most beautiful flower in the world. Oh flower, oh flower. I know you're the most beautiful flower in the world.
아름다운 시간 속에서 살아가는 꽃 한 송이 하늘 아래 깨어나 웃음 짓네 그 환한 웃음으로 늘 인사하네 어떤 바람에도 햇살과 함께하는 모습 한결같은 마음을 잊지 않는 모습 진심으로 모든 걸 대하는 하얀 송이의 꽃이 있네.
It's a beautiful day. Flower. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I know what you feel inside. Oh flower, oh flower. I know you're the most beautiful flower in the world. Oh flower, oh flower. I know you're the most beautiful flower in the world.
따스한 햇살 아래서 함께하는 행복한 순간에 맺혀있던 눈물을 잠시 내려놓고 이제 활짝 핀 꽃처럼 웃는다. 활짝 핀 꽃처럼 웃는다. 아름다운 시간 속에서 살아가는 꽃 한 송이
例えば誰かが太陽のように僕らを照らして生きる力をいつも届けてくれていて、あなたから届くラブレター一つ一つの言葉に溢れる想いと優しい気持ちが心の奥に染み渡る。会いたかったよ、愛しているよ、一人きり人生迷ってる時に誰かを通して呼んでくれたのはあなたなんだよ。こんなにも I love you 涙溢れるのは I miss you ずっと心の奥で待っていたのがあなたなんだよ。気づけたことが出会えたことがただ嬉しくて、今まで歩んだすべてを捨てて私と共に歩もう。あなたの言葉通りに頑張ることで心が清く変わってく。でも苦しくて負けそうになってそれが正しいと分かっていながらあなたを選べずに行えなくてもがいてたんだよ。そんな時 真実なんだよ愛してるんだよ僕があなたを伝えてくから
And that is Rising Japan Radio. Of course, they are from Japan, and that song was Love Letter. I don't think they are, like, they have a SoundCloud channel. They haven't added anything in a while, so I think they've stopped, like, doing this radio show or making this music, but I really hope that they start it again, because yeah, they have some really good content on there, and I'm hoping that they can restart it again. And I think that's one of the hardest things, guys, when we start like these radio shows or these podcasts. One of the hardest parts is everyone's gonna go through a lull. Like, there's going to be a point where, like, even, I believe it was the end of last year. Not the end. It was, like, near the end of last year, like, November to December. Actually, maybe October, November, about 2.5 months, there was this big lull where no one was listening anymore for a bit. And, you just got to push yourself through because... there's a lot of things that happen in Providence and in life too, and you got to do it till the end, and then it works out after you just got to keep pushing yourself to do it even more. Either way, so that was RJR, Rising Japan Radio, and that song was Love Letter. Before that, was Bach from the Paper Music Associates in Korea with A Flower featuring Hannah, and of course, the feature artist of the day is way over there in America, Mariah Henry in Houston, Texas, and that song was Paradise featuring her brother Mike Jr. All right, so let's get into some things happening around the world, and we'll start with the coronavirus updates. We are up to 104.1 million cases in the world with 2.2 million deaths at 2.16%, and the mortality rate is steady globally. The U.S., 26.9 million cases, 454,000 deaths at 1.69%. Brazil, 9.2 million cases, 225,000 deaths at 2.44%. Then Russia in third with 3.8 million cases, 74,000 deaths at 1.91%. And yes, the mortality rate did go up once again for Russia. UK in the same position, 3.8 million cases, 108,000 deaths, 2.8% mortality rate goes up. Spain, 2.8 million cases, 59,000 deaths at 2.07%. And brand new on the top 6. Remember, these top 6 goes by daily infection rates. And from Southeast Asia, making their debut at number 6, it's Indonesia. Indonesia, 1 million cases, 30,000 deaths at 2.78%. So you can see how things, it was kind of inevitable that this was going to happen too. And you guys got to know that Indonesia is the 4th largest country in the world by population. I believe they have 200-something million people. So I believe it's only India, China, and America that has more people than Indonesia, if you guys didn't know that. Yeah. Sweden. Yes, Sweden mortality rate did go up once again to 2.05%, and Belgium remains at 2.97%. Daily infection rates, we have the U.S. with 125,000 cases in a day, Spain with 25, and also Brazil with 25,000, the UK with 18, Russia with 17,000, and Indonesia comes in with 10,000 cases in a single day. And of course, here in Southeast Asia, yes, Indonesia is at 10,000, but Malaysia is kind of drops down to 4,200. And the Philippines with 1,600 cases in a given day. All right, so that is the coronavirus updates for today. Let's get into some current news and see what's happening around the world. And yes, we are talking about this coup d'etat that happened in Myanmar. And interesting thing happens in the UN. China actually blocks the UN condemnation as protest grows of Myanmar. Okay, so China has blocked a UN Security Council statement condemning the military coup in Myanmar. The military took power in the Southeast Asian nation on Monday after arresting political leader Aung San Suu Kyi. and hundreds of other lawmakers were arrested too. Now, the coup leaders have since formed a Supreme Council which will sit above the cabinet. So in Myanmar's biggest city, signs of resistance and civil disobedience have been growing. And of course, the United Nations Security Council met on Tuesday, but failed to agree on a joint statement after China did not support it. China has the power of veto as one of 5 permanent members of the council. So ahead of the talks, the UN's special envoy on Myanmar strongly condemned the military takeover, which came after the army refused to accept the outcome of general elections held in November. And she said it was clear that the recent outcome of the election was a landslide victory, right? So what's going on? Why did China block the UN action? Okay, so China has been warning since the coup that sanctions or international pressure would only make things worse in Myanmar. So Beijing has long played a role of protecting the country from international scrutiny. And not just them, it was also China and Russia. So it has repeatedly protected Myanmar from criticism at the UN over the military crackdown on the Muslim minority, the Rohingya population over there in Myanmar. So Beijing's stance on the situation is consistent with its overall skepticism of international intervention. Okay, so while China does benefit strategically from Myanmar's alienation from the West, this does not mean that Beijing is happy with the coup. He cautioned, like people are cautioning, right? So there is a pretty good arrangement with the NLD, which is Aung, who is the de facto leader, and invested a lot to rebuild the relationship. So the return of the military actually means that China now has to deal with the institution in Myanmar that historically is the most suspicious of China's intentions. Okay, so while he thinks a UN statement would not have made an immediate difference, it would still serve as a first step for cohering an international response that appears not to be forthcoming. Right, so that's quite interesting. How these are two. This is a country. This is Myanmar is a country in which both Russia and China have been protecting. So it's quite interesting too. Also, in other news, this is business news. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, he's worth like $200 billion. He has now stepped down as Amazon CEO. He stepped down, as crazy as that sounds. So Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, stepped down as a CEO of the e-commerce giant that he started in his garage nearly 30 years ago. And he will remain with the company, but he'll become an executive chairman. And basically, he said the move is for him to give more time and energy on his other ventures. So Mr. Bezos, the world's richest man, will be replaced by Andy Jassy, who currently leads Amazon's cloud computing business. So the change will take place in the second half of 2021, the company said. So being the CEO of Amazon is this is Jeff Bezos' statement. He said, being the CEO of Amazon is a deep responsibility and it's consuming. When you have a responsibility like that, it's hard to put attention on anything else. So this is what he wrote this letter to the staff of Amazon on Tuesday. And he said that as executive chair, which will be his new position, he will stay engaged in important Amazon initiatives, but also have the time and energy he needs to focus on the Day One Fund, the Bezos Earth Fund, Blue Origin, the Washington Post, and his other passions, right? So he said he's never had more energy, and this isn't about retiring. It's just that he's super passionate about the impact his organizations can have, his other ones that he has, right? He's 57 right now, worth $200 billion. He's 57, guys. He's 15 years older than me. He's led Amazon since its start, right, in 1994. And now Amazon employs 1.3 million people globally and basically has its hand in everything from package delivery, streaming video to cloud services, advertising. And his fortune, like he said, he's worth almost $200 billion. And, and he's number one in the world for richest, right? So, when you look at Amazon, because of the pandemic, explosive growth last year because of, what was happening with online shopping. And last year, the firm reported like $386 billion in sales in 2020. Which is almost 40% up from the year before. And also the profits have almost doubled. So his profits from 2020 was over $21 billion, right? So interesting thing is, this is at a very interesting time that he's leaving because this is a time where Amazon is facing increased scrutiny from regulators. And they're questioning Amazon's monopoly power and its dominance in cloud computing is being increasingly challenged by other tech firms, such as Microsoft and Alphabet, like parent companies of Google and YouTube. So Jeff Bezos' decision to hand over the day-to-day operation of the company came as a surprise, but investors appeared unfazed, so it's not like they're letting go of the Amazon stock, with little change in the firm's share price in after-hours trading. So in a call with analysts to discuss the firm's financial results, the chief financial officer said Jeff isn't leaving, he's just getting a new job, right? The board is super active and important Amazon success story, right? So that's quite interesting to see that he stepped down, okay? Last but not least, we're going to go over to China, okay? Another thing on China, but it's more towards Taiwan. So China warns Taiwan that if they go independent, it means war. Right? And then U.S. pledges support. So China has warned Taiwan that any attempt to seek independence means war. So the warning comes days after China stepped up its military activities and flew warplanes near the island. And it also comes after President Joe Biden reaffirmed his commitment to Taiwan and set out his stance in Asia. So the U.S. has called China's latest warning unfortunate, adding that tensions did not need to lead to anything like confrontation. So China sees democratic Taiwan as a breakaway province, but Taiwan sees itself as a sovereign state with its own constitution, military, and elected leaders. Now, analysts say Beijing is becoming increasingly concerned that Taiwan's government is moving the island towards a formal declaration of independence, and it wants to warn the president of Taiwan against taking steps in that direction. Now, President Tsai, who's the president of Taiwan, however, has repeatedly said that Taiwan is already an independent state, making any formal declaration is unnecessary. And on Thursday, Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman Wu Qian, I think that's right, Wu Qian, defended the recent military activities near Taiwan, saying there were necessary actions to address the current security situation in the Taiwan Strait and to safeguard national sovereignty and security. So, basically, they're warning Taiwan independence elements, right? Like basically, if you play with fire, you're gonna get burned, right? So those of you guys who don't know, I'm gonna just give you a basic thing of the basics of China and Taiwan, right? So China and Taiwan have been separate as governments since the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949, and Beijing has long tried to limit Taiwan's international activities, and both have vied for influence in the Pacific region, and tensions have increased in recent years, and Beijing has not ruled out the use of force to take the island back. Although Taiwan is officially recognized by only a handful of nations, its democratically elected government has strong commercial and informal links with many countries, and like most nations, the U.S. has no official diplomatic ties with Taiwan, but a U.S. law does require it to provide the island with the means to defend itself, right? So that is quite interesting to see what's going to happen with Taiwan and China. I thought it was going to happen last year, but something really, really big like this is probably going to take a lot of time. So that is the news. China blocks the UN condemnation of Myanmar coup d'etat. And then we see Jeff Bezos steps down from the Amazon CEO. And of course, Taiwan is being threatened by China, saying that, guess what? If you get independence, it means war. And U.S. still pledges support for Taiwan. All right. So that is the news today that's the world news for today. Awesome. Cool. All right. So that means what? It means we're getting into time, a little bit more of a spiritual time. We're going to get to time of praise and worship. Ooh, my tongue's getting twisted right now. 1 second. Let me get a drink of my green tea to untie my tongue. Okay. Very good. All right. So we're going to sing a couple of these great songs today. These great stories of the new songs, right? So we have a couple. We have My Beloved is the Best. Amen. Like even that itself is a sermon. And then Let's Preach the Word of Life. And at the very end, Let's Sing Together. So everyone, as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let us spend this time giving glory to the Holy Trinity.
My beloved, you're the best. All of you sing so well, and you dance so well. No one can compare to you. They're nothing special, never
arms with me. Lift up your praise. Everyone, let us sing. Glorify the Trinity. In a flash, we transformed. We become heaven's brides. We are theirs for all time. Sing about memories, stories we shared. Everyone join in one heart. Let's dance and sing. Since we know the Trinity's endless love. Joy is ours, life is happy. We'll live with grateful hearts, thankful in spirit, body, and soul. So as we sing, let us rejoice. We'll dance and fall deeper in love. With the Lord we converse joyfully. This is eternal love. This is heaven. Sing about memories, stories we shared. Everyone join in one heart. Let's dance and sing. Since we know the Trinity's endless love. Joy is ours, life is happy. We'll live with grateful hearts, thankful in spirit, body, and soul. So as we sing, let us rejoice. We'll dance and fall deeper in love. With the Lord we converse joyfully. This is eternal love. This is heaven. So as we sing, let us rejoice. We'll dance and fall deeper in love. With the Lord we converse joyfully. This is eternal love. This is heaven. This is eternal love. This is heaven.
And that was Let's Sing Together, one of my favorite songs. It's so gospelly, and yeah, I love the soul in it. So yeah, let's sing together. Before that, let's preach the word of life. And of course, my beloved is the best. All right. So now let's get into a time of word study, and it is a time of Q&A. Okay, it's a Q&A session. And interesting and cool thing is, I had two questions, exact same question, because I guess it's a good thing because there are a lot of lecturers out there that are starting to teach times and a half, which is good news. It means people have made it to the very end, which I'm so thankful and grateful for. And the question came up was, what's 2023? Like, what does it mean? Like, how come? Like, how do we teach the 2023 part? Because that's in like 2 years, guys. Right? In 2 years, it's 2023. When you look at the times and half a time, there's like the 13, there's a 1260, 1290, then 1335. And the central figure path is supposed to be from 1260 to 1335, which is 45.5 years. right? 21, 3.5, and 21. So how is this supposed to work? So this is a very good question because it's a little bit different now because we're like, whoa, things haven't happened the way it was supposed to, right? Because a grace period was only supposed to be 1999 to 2002 and a half. That's 3.5 years, right? And that's when the World Cup was, I believe, in June and July. Okay, so we're like, okay, so that's yeah. So it's supposed to end, and the World Cup came, so the end of the grave period. But yet we hear that the grave period repeats 4 times, right? So it's 14 years. 3.5 times 4 is 14 years. So we're like, whoa, what's going on? Things didn't happen according to plan. Okay, and what was the original plan? The original plan is the path of the central figure is 21, 3.5, and 21. That's the original path, right? And it doesn't mean that they die right after, 2023 is supposed to be the time the son's going to die. No, it's not about him dying. It just means that the time of them running, like the main time of them running, is supposed to be 21, 3.5, and 21. After that, it's kind of like their mission has finished, but not saying that they're no longer oh no, Jesus, you're no longer the Messiah. Why? Because you're always going to be. That is who you are, but you have a time to run, right? So you have a set time to run. It's 21, 3.5, and 21, and this is. But why isn't it like this right now? And Sunseem's talking about, doing an extra 10 years or whatever it is, right? Because of the 10 years he spent there, he's asking God for permission to go for another 10 years, which basically means to 2028, which is quite interesting because that's the end of the 7 years of prayer, right? It's 2021 plus 7 years equals 2028, which is the extra 10 years. So when we look at this, it's quite interesting that we have to think about this as, well, why is it like this? Isn't this supposed to end in 2023? Now, the way that you can understand this, we have to understand this clearly first before we can teach it. Now, the way that we can look at it is looking through Jesus's life. Now, originally speaking, we teach during predestination that there is absolute and relative predestination, and relative predestination is able to alter history. For instance, at Jesus' time, he wasn't supposed to die after 3 years. He was supposed to take the entire central figure path of 21, 3.5, and 21, right? So that was what was supposed to happen, but it didn't because the people rejected and killed the Messiah. And that's why it went from 45 years to 3 years, right? So we all know and we teach this, and we got to think about this, guys. We're actually teaching this, which means that we need to think about this in real life too. Right? We can't just say, oh, it only happened in the Bible, but it's happening right now. So what happened with Jesus was because the generation was wicked, they couldn't accept the Messiah, and they killed him, and his mission stopped at 3 years. Right? And you have to understand that in the Bible, there are 2 types of paths that the Lord can take. Number 1 is the original path is the Lord of glory. Right? And that's what you'll find in verses like Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 through 8. That says, for unto us a child is born. He'll sit on the throne of David. There'll be peace forever in Israel, right? And then you'll have like Isaiah 53, which is the ultimate chapter for Jesus dying on the cross, like the prophecy for that. So when we look at these things, we're like, oh, that's quite interesting. Now, what happens is it depends on relative predestination of the path that the Lord takes. And obviously, at the time of Jesus, he took the path of the cross, which was unexpected. How do we know it was unexpected? Well, look at the reaction of the disciples. The disciples never heard about him dying. They felt like it was going to last forever. Like it's going to be a long time they'll be with Jesus. However, after he dies, they all felt that the history was over. How do we know? They all went back to their own jobs. They didn't continue preaching. They didn't continue healing. They didn't continue talking about the words. They went back to their old jobs, where Jesus, after resurrecting, in 40 days, he had to gather his disciples again to say, hey, the history is still running. Okay, so there was confusion for the disciples. You got to understand that there was confusion for the disciples. So when you understand this, it's like, oh, okay. And this is why even for me, as I was growing up, and those of you who don't know, in 2004, 2005, Sunseem did talk about the second grave period. And this confused a lot of people because we're like, what second grave period? We never heard about it. It's just 1999, 2002. Yeah, what? Another grave period is continuing? No one understood it. And it's because we didn't apply the words that we were teaching, understanding that there was that relative predestination, that we could make the same mistake and take the Lord to the Lord of affliction instead of the Lord of glory, right? So we know that when we teach about Jesus' path changing because of the responsibility of the disciples and and human beings in their generation, it's exact same thing happened at this time right now, where now obviously Sunsim has taken the path of the cross, right? It's the path of the cross. So because it's the path of the cross, we are in uncharted territory, meaning we have no idea what's going to happen next. We don't know what's going to happen. All we know is that the information that we get. Is it going to end in 2023? Obviously not. Why? Because the path is different. The moment we took the path of the cross is the moment everything changed, right? And this is why we need to understand this really well in order for us to teach that last part of time times and a half. Yes, the relative predestination was not done properly. And as Sunsim says, right, he basically tells people that, it's because of disciples is the main reason. It's not because of the people. The people don't believe, right? The people aren't the ones following. And he basically said that it's the same thing at the time of Jesus. If the disciples were better, if they prayed more, if they believed with all their heart, history would have changed. Just like the time at Garden of Gethsemane, Sunsim also said that if the disciples really prayed and told God that they'd be able to do it, then life would have went on. He wouldn't have to go to the cross. If they really prayed, but they fell asleep instead, right? So, it's kind of like that song that says, we are the reason. We're the reason that the Lord takes the path to the cross. It's because of us, right? And it's the reliance on God does everything that kills us more than anything else. So when we teach 2023, we can teach them the original, what it's supposed to be. Then we teach them what's literally happening right now because of what we've done, right? So it's something that you kind of have to teach it in two parts when it comes to time times and a half, because it's not the same path anymore. What's going to happen in 2023? Honestly, guys, I have no idea, because we're on a different path. So I really have no idea. Maybe something else significant might happen, but no one knows except for God. Like, I'm sure even Sunsim doesn't know right now. What's going to happen? We have no idea. Something's going to change. It will, but we just don't know what it is, right? And what we know is that Sunsim said he's going to run another 10 years because of the time he spent in 10 years in prison. And it's interesting how it leads exactly to 2008, which is 10 years. So it's I am uncertain, but I am trusting and I have faith in God that things will happen in the proper and right way. Yeah, so I hope that you guys really understood that question a bit more. I know a lot of you don't teach it, but at least even if you're not teaching it, we should understand the situation really well. Okay, cool. So that was today's word study. I hope that was something that kind of enlightened you or opened your eyes a little bit more, which leads us into a time of the song of choice for the day. What is a song of choice? We're going to go way back to 1998. And this is when I first came to Providence. And 1998, I'm going to go to a group that had this amazing song. It's an American alternative rock band, and they're called the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm sure some of you remember them, right? And this was from the soundtrack City of Angels, featuring, I think it's supposed to be Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan, I think, right? And it was also included in another movie. And it's also included in the band's 6th album, and the song is called Iris. It's a great song, right? This one song contributed to possibly the greatest contribution to the band's success, right? One of the biggest alternative rock staples of its time, and it remains one of the biggest crossover hits in the history of popular music. Modern rock, radio, pop, adult contemporary, reaching #1 on all of these formats and becoming the most played song of 1998 over all formats. So that's pretty crazy, right? So the song reached #1 in Australia and Canada, Italy, #3 in the United Kingdom, #9 on the US Billboard 100. It's one of Ireland's best-selling singles of all time, right? And this is that song, 1998. Probably the most played song over all those platforms. This song is called Iris.
Up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And soon tears that ain't coming, all the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
And that was the Goo Goo Dolls with Iris. Yeah, isn't it a great song? It really is. It's such a good song, and you can see why that it crossed like 5 different platforms and were like #1 on all of them, most played on all of them too. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Go ahead, check them out, the band, the Goo Goo Dolls. They have a bunch of different good songs too. All right, so that brings us. It is Thursday, right? Which means that Thursday we always have a brand new segment coming from Youngsay over there in South Africa. So everyone, once again, please enjoy today's segment of Victory Rhymes.
Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to another Victory Rhymes segment where the poetic things happen. This is a poetry platform where I share the poems written by the amazing people of this history. And it's presented by me. I'm Youngsay. I'm all the way from South Africa, but I've been living in Korea for the last 5 years. And yep, I'm here for all the poetic things. I love it. I'm enjoying this segment so much, and I hope that you will too. And you know, through these poems, we can really listen to each other's experiences. We can hear what people feel realized, what people feel inspired by, and we can get to know people from all over the world. And this year, I'm really excited to feature people from, like, poems written by people from all over the world. So if you've written something that you feel inspired to share, you're like, while I'm talking, you're like, oh yes, I have something, like, I wonder, should I share it? Yes, you should. So if you feel that feeling, you feel that inspiration to share what you've written, or to share anything that someone else has written that you really like, ask their permission first, of course. But if you want to recommend someone, I'm up for that too. Or if you want to share one of your favorite poems of Sangsim, that would be awesome too. So please get in touch with me. You can find the email in the description below. And today we have a really awesome poem by Emily Meir, all the way from Chicago in USA. And I actually saw this poem that she posted on Facebook in 2018. And I still remember it even now. And it's actually a poem that I've had in mind for a while now to feature on Victory Rhymes, because it contains a meaningful message that really inspired me and it really kind of stuck with me and inspired me. So let's hear Emily's inspiration behind the poem called On My Way to Predon. She said, Sangsanim is an incredibly gifted poet. And a couple years ago, he encouraged us to try writing our own poems, confidently asserting that truly anyone can do it. In my life thus far, I've loved outlets such as writing, music, and art, but at the time hadn't tapped into that creative side of myself for ages. So with Sangsim's encouragement and inspiration from God and His creation, I was able to write this piece almost effortlessly and offer it to the Trinity as a completely new form of praise and glory. So let's hear the poem called On My Way to Pre-Dawn by Emily Meir. I walk along the path, the wind flicking the hem of my skirt. The chilly October freeze is refreshing, blowing cold air onto my nose and around my ankles. I look up and see stars. They're dimmed by the lights of the city, but the strongest ones still shine brightly. On my way to pre-dawn, I meet no person or moving car, since there are no souls awake here, but only mine at this time. Then surely you are looking at me, right? Isn't it so beautiful? I really like this last line. Then surely you are looking at me, right? I love that, and it really inspired me that in the pre-dawn when everyone's asleep, the city is still sleeping, and I'm awake, getting up to pray, that surely God is looking at me. So yeah, I really like this poem. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for sharing with us. We are really blessed that we could hear it today. But that's not it yet for today, everyone. I have another amazing poem to share with you. It's very short, but very sweet and striking and inspiring. And this poem was written by Corlia Smits, all the way from South Africa. And she also used to live here in Korea together with me. And she also wrote this poem in the same month as Emily Meir, and inspired by the same message that Sangsim gave, that all of us can write poetry, all of us should try it and give glory to God through trying to write something in our daily lives. And Corlia wrote this poem called Run. And in this poem, she really captured something that we all experience in our daily lives, and she captured it into poetry in such an inspiring way. So I think you're all gonna relate to this one. You're gonna feel that shimjong. And so please enjoy this poem called Run by Corlia Smits. Sometimes I get so tired of running for the green light. But I know if I miss it, I'll be late. I'll miss my bus, miss my class, miss my dinner. So I will run. Pushing until the end is far better than waiting for the light to turn green again. Don't you guys feel it when you listen to this poem? Oh, if I had to count the times I had to run for that green light, I sometimes feel like the wait for the green light is so frustrating that whenever I just walk past a street and I see the light is green, even if that's not the way that I'm supposed to go, I just want to go. I just want to cross that street. I'm so excited to see a green light. But yeah, you know, sometimes it takes so long to turn green, especially when you're at these big intersections. But this poem is so striking because it really is, when that opportunity comes, we need to take it. Even if we have to push, we have to run, we have to put effort, we have to really exert some power in that moment to grab that opportunity. But it's so much better than having to wait for the opportunity to come again. And Sangsim has said so many times that that opportunity may take years, or it might not even come again. So it's so much better to take that opportunity, that green light, rather than missing the opportunity. So even though you have to make some extra effort at that time when the opportunity comes up, you have to really make the push. It's so much better than missing the opportunity and missing out on the great things that could happen if you just would have grabbed that opportunity at that instant. Thank you so much, Corlia. Thank you so much, Emily, for inspiring us today. And just like Corlia and Emily challenged themselves to write something encouraged by Sangsim's sermon, I give everyone listening today the challenge to write something as well. Even if it's short, even if it's not that great, but just challenge yourself. God is always looking at us, so why don't we try to write something and show it to God? And if it's not that good at all, then well, at least we can make God laugh, right? So let's really try to put our very sincere and honest confession into words. And in this coming week, let's really challenge ourselves to write something, even if it's so short. I'm sure you're gonna make the Trinity so happy. So that's it from me today, everyone. Thank you so much. I'll be back again next week with some more awesome poetry. Have yourself an amazing day. This is Youngse. Goodbye.
And thank you so much, Youngse, for another awesome segment of Victory Rhymes. Those of you guys, keep sending in your poems, your poetry, your personal ones, and the ones that you recommend from other people too. You can send it anonymous. Go ahead. The email is in the description of this video. All right, guys, thank you so much. That means that is the last segment for today, which also means it's time to say goodbye. Hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. Enjoy it together with the Lord. Make sure you pray during this 21-day condition. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm